And good evening, everyone. Thanks for clicking on WDTV.com. I'm Carrie Galiotis.
And I'm Ben Katko. What started off as an intense search for an abducted child out of Preston County ended very happily today.
That's right. Police were able to arrest the suspect and the little girl who was found safe. 24-year-old Timothy Adam White is the suspect that police have taken into custody. Now, this all started just before noon today when a white Toyota Corolla was stolen from the Gas and More in Reedsville. Officials said a 2-year-old girl was inside that car. Now, police were able to track the suspect down to Ritchieville, Pennsylvania, and that's where White is said to have dropped off the little girl and the stolen car. Now, that's also where a man saw White and the girl standing in the cold and offered the two a ride. Now, after a short ride, White apparently stole another van, and police were able to track him down in Allegheny County. Now, officers are not releasing much about the motive, but they have said that White knows the family of the little girl.
Earlier today, we told you a coal miner had been killed in an accident in Raleigh County last night, which marked the second mining death in our state in just a week. Now, we learned a few hours ago the man is 43-year-old Edward Finney of Bluefield. Finney was apparently crushed under a scoop at Pocahontas Coal Company's Affinity Mine. This happened just one day after 34-year-old Brandon Townsend died when a hydraulic jack exploded on a belt press in Malden. Both incidents are still under investigation.
And we're learning more about the correspondence between the president of the State Board of Education and acting superintendent of schools James Ferris before the controversial and sudden firing of former state super Jerea Marple. The Charleston Gazette used a Freedom of Information Act request to obtain emails between board president Wade Linger and Ferris. Now, they show the two men communicating about the possible replacement for Marple 2 months before she was fired. Linger said he first asked Ferris for a biography because he was aware of his credentials. But he said the idea of replacing Marple goes further back to a review of the March 2012 education efficiency audit. Marple was fired on November 15th, 5 months after a positive performance review. Her attorneys say she plans to sue, and the parents of a student have also sued, arguing the board broke open meeting laws.
In a sign that the honeymoon might be over, the president's approval ratings seem to be slipping since Inauguration Day. The latest from the CNN poll of polls, which averages the latest surveys, shows 49% of Americans approve of the job President Obama is doing right now. That's compared to his 52% job approval rating just before he took the oath of office for this second term. CNN polling director Keating Holland says, historically speaking, it's not surprising for a second-term president to lose a few points in the aftermath of his second inauguration. Former presidents Bill Clinton and Ronald Reagan both saw similar drops. A massive blizzard is expected to bear down on the Northeast today and for a very long time.
Absolutely, and because of that, 23 million people are now under a blizzard warning. Now, the coming storm is already causing major disruptions in air travel. In a preemptive move, airlines have canceled more than 3,200 flights to and from the affected regions today and tomorrow. Now, the airlines are clearly not taking any chances. And here's a look at the snow already piling up in Rhode Island. The potentially historic winter storm could lock some residents indoors for days. And what's worse is this storm is on a path similar to Superstorm Sandy, but it will also include areas farther north. The blizzard is predicted to blanket places where Superstorm left behind the deepest scars, like New York. We're going to keep you updated on what's going on all night long with this storm right here on 5 News.
In other news, as the baby boomers grow older, a new study shows they'll become part of a growing number of Alzheimer's patients. In fact, one study believes the amount of men and women with it may triple by 2050. Age is the biggest risk when it comes to getting Alzheimer's. A lot of patients are diagnosed in their 70s. One of the reasons, though, this so-called epidemic could hit is because of our aging society. Medicine and technology have led to the cure of other diseases, which means more people are hitting the ages where they could be affected by Alzheimer's. Right now, though, there's no cure for it. But in general, patients suffer from Alzheimer's for about 7 years. During this time, they go through 3 different phases. Professionals say this is why some changes need to be made so the country can be ready to have more than 13 million Alzheimer's patients.
We need to look at community services that can give relief to the caretaker in the form of housing and treatment so that we can take care of our loved ones that develop this disease in the best possible setting.
Right now, about 5 million people are suffering from that disease. All right, let's take a quick peek at what we're working on in the newsroom for Fox 10 at 10 and 5 News at 11. First up, we are working on more updates to the abduction situation in Preston County that happened earlier today. But like we said, we do know a man has been arrested, and that child is safe.
And plus, a 40-year-old murder case in Fairmont could come to an end very soon. We're going to take a look back at the case and an arrest made in connection with it yesterday in Florida.
And that's what's making news this evening. Of course, be sure to tune in to Fox 10 at 10 and 5 News at 11 tonight for all the latest news and weather.
And until then, have a great night.